Hello there, welcome to episode 2 of VinylReveals. If you don't know me, my name's Keith Evans, and you can now find me on Twitter at Reveals Vinyl. So there we go, it's a quick little introduction if you haven't seen this before. And what I do is reveal vinyl that I've purchased, either turns up in the post or from the shop that I haven't opened yet, which is a pretty cool thing to do. And I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it as well. Just a quick recap. So episode 2. Sorry, I've gone to town this episode on this little design because I had 10 minutes to kill, so kind of gone for it there. So don't expect this every time, but there you go. And there's a few little acts there that we'll talk about later. But anyway, I just want to there's a bit of housekeeping from the episode 1. Where I reviewed Sandra's wedding, or as I like to call it, Sharon's wedding by mistake. So if you saw that and you saw my tweet and it said Sharon's wedding, Sharon's my girlfriend, so it's not called Sharon's wedding, it's called Sandra's wedding. Well, they're called Sandra's wedding. Sharon's wedding will be called Sharon's wedding if she gets married again. So I reviewed Sandra's wedding. I'm going to get out of this quickly. I'm going to review. I reviewed Sandra's wedding and their album Frame Yourself. So yeah, really like that, and thanks to Sandra's wedding for retweeting and getting in touch and things like that, and saying thank you for the review. So that was great, and all the best to them. So on to episode 2, and I got this record. I think it was last December. I think. I was up in Manchester, Salford Keys, for some reason. Sharon likes to take to these places up north and try and ingratiate myself into a north lifestyle. There you go. But it was lovely. Obviously pre-lockdown, and there's a catering van, and like a little record shop, sort of someone selling records on the front. Thing was called Stutter and Twitch or Titch or something like that. Actually, I can actually tell you what they're called. Stutter and Twitch. I can never quite get my tongue around that. There's a little coffee catering van, and I bought this vinyl, saw it, and thought, well, I've been meaning to get this. I had got it on CD, and I've been playing it in the car, kind of about the year prior. So we'll ended up with a vinyl, but I've just not got round to opening it for some reason or another. So I thought the other day, what have I got that I haven't opened? And I think this is the only one. So here we go. So episode 2 is revealing the album by the band called Shame, and the album is called Songs of Praise, to remind myself there. And this came out in I think it was January 2018. So it's a few years old now. Their very first album, and they're a group of 5 guys from South London, very young guys. Produced his first album. I think he got some play on Radio 1, things like this, and on Bill Radio 6. You know, got a bit of a following behind it, kind of thing, due to airplay, and got some really good songs. So I thought, well, I've heard this. I brought the CD for the car, as I say, and we could kind of take it from there. But I shall get into this now for the very first time. And there's Stutter and Twitch's little label on the back. And this is it is shrink wrapped, so this is just a plastic bag over the top of that. And here we go. Shrink wrapped. I've actually never had this out. It's actually open. Funnily enough, I thought it was closed, but I haven't actually had it out. And on the front there, as I'll talk you through the cover, we've got grimy post-punk with a whiff of menace. That was Q magazine. And it's here and it doesn't disappoint, NPR. Limited edition sky blue vinyl, includes digital download. And I think it looks like it came from Rough Trade Shop originally. So there's a price on there of £20, $19.99, and I paid £18. So did okay there, got a couple of pound off. It's probably about actually the RRP of the record. I I should imagine. So they have Songs of Praise, a Shane band, and the guys holding piglets. Yeah, young piglets. And they're staying in the countryside somewhere, maybe South London, who knows. I think the guys hail from like Brixton, neck of the woods, don't quote me on that. So quite sure if that's a metaphor for anything, holding these pigs. So we shall see. Maybe we shall learn something later on. And then on the back we have the lyrics, which are kind of nicely set out in 6 columns. I quite like that. That's nicely done. I quite like the cover on the photo on the front. There's just something about it. It's not quite. I'm not sure, but it's like one of those. It's through the record. You're a bit unsure, and I think they like that. They've got to they hang their hat on that a bit probably. But anyway, on the back, yeah, we've got the lyrics nicely listed in a serif font, which is quite nice, and it's all very legible and easy to read. So any bands out there getting their album designed, please, if you're going to put your lyrics on, put them on like this, because this is a fine example of how to show lyrics off where the line breaks in the right place, this kind of thing. So that's really cool. It's a nice size and it's very legible and easy to read, which is great. And you've got side 1 on the left and side 2 on that side on the right. And then on the back there at the bottom we've got Dead Oceans, which is the record label. Dead Oceans Inc. All rights reserved. Not heard of Dead Oceans before, so if you know anything about those guys, let me know. And then let's see what we've got inside. As I say, I've never actually looked at this before. Just make sure there's nothing else in there. The download code, I should imagine. Yeah, little download code there. And then inside, first off, we've got this fold out calendar for 2018. That's quite nice. I quite like that. It's a nice imaginative idea, something you don't normally see within an album. The calendar for the year of its release. Seeing it was released in I think January the 12th actually, so that's it's kind of marked there. Yeah, and it says there January 12th, which is quite cool. And then it looks like yes, they've got the birthdays marked on of the guys in the group, which is quite cool. I was looking at that thinking, oh god, they're bank holidays, but they're not. So it's not all that helpful a calendar, to be honest. But they have got the guys' band's birthdays on there, which is a bit quirky and quite like that. And a nice black and white shot there. Candid shot, probably well posed, to be honest, but it's like a bit of a candid shot, but it's been nicely posed. I like that. Try and find out who that was by, maybe. But yeah, really cool black and white calendar of January 2018. And on the reverse, actually, where we've got details of who the band are, and the lead singer is Charlie Steen. We've got Sean Coyle Smith on guitar and backing vocals. He's backing vocals on some of it. They do tend to share some of the singing quite a lot. They do sing together on tracks and things like this, so it's quite cool. Eddie Green guitar and backing vocals again. Josh Finnerty is on bass. He provides some backing vocals as well. Charlie Forbes, who's on drums, again some more backing vocals as they would. And there's an additional performer of Holly Whittaker, backing vocals on Angie, which is the final track. So that's quite nice. It just explains who they are, what they do, what they're setting about. It was produced by Dan Fote and Nathan Boddy, and some program recording engineers there. It was recorded at Rockfield Studios. Assistant engineers, things like that, mastered by Matt Colton at Alchemy. Actually, the photography, I assume throughout, so maybe that black and white photography on the front of this, and the guys holding the piglets on the front was by Holly Whitaker, and the design of the album, the graphic design, is by Miles Johnson. And then there's quite a long series of thanks there, and which is quite nice. And yeah, that's all kind of information that you normally kind of see on the inner sleeve, I suspect. But they've produced this calendar, or one sheet of a calendar, all of 2018, which is really cool. I like that. Interesting. Nice paper as well, nice paperweight. And then I've got the chamfered corners on just the holding in the sleeve. Just take this out, and we've got a baby blue vinyl, which those of you who saw episode 1, that was a baby blue vinyl as well. So quite the together thing. But yeah, blue, pink, black, splattered, don't really matter. It's easily produced, to be honest. So, but it's nice. It's a bit different. And then on the just find the side one. On the inner disc, we've just got Shame, Songs of Praise, and just the list of the tracks on that side. So on side 1 we have 1, Dust on Trial, 2, Concrete, 3, 1, Rizzler, 4, The Lick, 5, Tasteless. Again, we've got 2018 stereo, 33.5 RPM. And on side 2, similar design, exactly the same design, but on side 2 we have Donk, Gold Hole, Friction, Lampoon, and Angie. Nice one-word title songs there, which I quite like. So there's only about 3 songs on there. I haven't got one word, which is pretty cool. I like short-worded titles. I'm just having a quick look at the runoff, and there's something scratched in there on side 1, which looks like DAC or D&C 144 LP A1. Further around here we've got matte, looks like copyright symbol, Alchemy, matte, or it might be Matt at Alchemy, which is the engineer, wasn't he? That's pretty cool. On the other side, yeah, just the lettering again, DSC 144 B1, side 1 essentially. Yeah, so just that nod to, yeah, Matt at Alchemy there on that side. It's quite nice. So we shall give that a little listen in a bit. Quite like that, nice and simple, nice heavyweight vinyl, only 180 again. So yeah, packaging wise, I think it's bob on. It's nice and simple. We've got the calendar there. It's a bit unusual, so I like that for a first album anyway. There's a bit of thought and a bit of ingenuity gone into that, which is nice, and the design's nice and simple. It's straightforward, and it doesn't strike you as it almost looks like you were like a songs of, I don't know if it's a play on Songs of Praise. Well, it's Songs of Praise, so it's almost like got that feel of like you'd see a picture of a choir here, and these boys are the choir in this instance. I would suspect that's the way you want them to view it. So anyway, let's get on to a very quick review of this album. As I say, I listened to this first in the car on one of the summers, must have been the summer of 2018, and I think it's one of those albums that it's kind of quite good for the car. It's very upbeat, and it's lively, and it sort of gets you going, and it's upright, it's straight, it's in your face, and it's raw, and it's kind of unfinished in a way, but it's just impulsive, and it's a fun, energetic way of getting you in a mood. Saturday morning, you're slightly hungover, get in that car, or don't if you're slightly hungover, but you know what I mean. Just wind the window down a little bit and blast it out. It's pretty cool. So it's essentially, the genre is like they're alt rock, post punk. As I say, they're very young. There's 5 of them, and they've laid it all down here in quite a startling way in places. And the frontman Charlie Steen is, from what I can view, I haven't seen these guys live yet. It's not quite come off, but I've seen some live videos, and Charlie's definitely a frontman. Definitely knows how to work a crowd, and he's got a different range of the way he sings, things like that. It's very interesting, and he really sort of reacts with the crowd, and the kids, well, not kids, but enjoy yourself, go out, express yourself, and this is what these guys do, and they're young, vivacious, and they kind of get it. So starting off, we've got song number one is Dust on Trial, which really sort of opens it up, and it's this album is bookended beautifully, really, by two tracks, Dust on Trial and Angie, which is completely different to Dust on Trial. They polar opposites, so they're at both ends of the spectrum of the album, which is pretty cool. So it's a great start, great finish as well, and some great tunes in the middle there as well, so well done. Dust on Trial, very sort of what's the word, sort of industrial, kind of spits at you. It's very kind of bass driven, it's humming along, it's energetic, it's got everything. It's really kind of grabs your senses and really kind of opens the album and gets you intrigued, startles you almost a little bit. Stop start chundering along like a machine. It's going to mow you down, this song is, and yeah, it's pretty good. It's a great song to start the album off with, and rated that really highly. It's a really good song. And then we go into sort of Concrete, which is a bit of like there's a bit of a duet in there between the lead singer and the guitarist, which is cool. Again, keeping it interesting. They've got a lot to say, be a little bit political, that these kids have got a lot of angst. They're seeing what's going on with the government, things like this, and not going to want to put up with it, and they want to have their say about it, which is really cool. Really lively stuff. Coming on to the third song, One Rizzler, that's I think that was one of their singles. I remember seeing a video for it. Probably the first time I actually saw them might have been that video, and he's like kissing a window or something, or licking a window or something. That's kind of my abiding impression of the video, which is it's really cool actually. So it's a good song. That is a quality song. It's all about street and things like this, and it's angry, and they say what they want to say. On 4, we're kind of getting into kind of the Fall territory a little bit. Mark E. Smith, kind of this monologue. It's called The Lick, and I thought this was one of their, if not their top song on the album. It's kind of interesting, very different. I think there's a line in there. I don't want to be heard if you're the only one that's listening, or like that. And as I entered the building, I saw a large acrylic painting span the ceiling, and the stale smell of silicone clung to the walls. Things like this, really painting a picture full of good ideas in this song particularly. I thought painting a really vivid picture and getting across what they wanted to say. And I thought, yeah, that hints of the Fall in this, punky, an attitude, not 100% sure what the hell it's about, which, if you've listened to the Fall, they're a little bit like that at times. You don't, but, and that's interesting. Figure it out for yourself and go for it. Going on then, there's a couple of more tracks. I particularly like going on to track 7, Gold Hole, which is essentially about a gold digger, essentially. But listen to it. Some very clever lyrics in there. It's like machine gun drumming in it. There's a lot of good, energetic, the guitaring. They don't leave anything unannounced, this band. They just get on with it. This is raw. There's some stuff in there that's like, okay, it's their first album, there's going to be mistakes, but generally there's dotted throughout this album, there's some quality songs. You've got Dust on Trial, The Lick, Gold Hole, so scattered throughout this are some really good songs. And then going on to number 9 as well, Lampoon. That's another, it's a quick song, it's a quick slice of interest. It's rapid fire, the delivery is rapid fire. Again, a monologue, sort of scattergun guitar work again I've put in here, really driven. There's a line in there, my tongue will never get tired, quite like that, things like this, and just very interesting. And then that leads us on to the last track, track 10, Angie, which is like a sort of downbeat, not downbeat, it's not upbeat track, but it's sort of more melancholy and things like this about love lost. We're not quite sure what happens there, sort of left to your own devices a little bit what happened at the end, not sure. But that's a really nice melodic track, really well thought about. Great end to the album, I thought. So I think there's 5 or 6 tracks in there that really hold this album together. You got 10 in total, and I think for a first album, it was a really great effort, to be honest. Something a little bit different, don't really sound like anybody else. I can't think of anybody particularly sound like, but you've sort of, since that you've had Fontaine's DC doing this kind of punk, kind of thing, or post-punk kind of thing, the punk coming back in a little bit more. So this year I haven't really heard much off them. I've had a quick look, and I think there's some new music. I'm not sure that's a new album or new single before the album, March next year. So I think I read somewhere they got all the tracks down for the next album, which is fair enough. And hopefully they can build on what they've done. Some great tracks in here, The Lick, things like that. Get a little bit more kind of, as they build, they'll get more, more experience and, really drive home these messages. But yeah, I think they're really energetic and fun. Great band. Just, yeah. They're roller coasting, singing the styles in it. There's he sings in different styles as well, which is really cool in different ones. So it's not the same. It's always quite interesting. So it's like a melting pot of ideas and themes really throughout it as well, styles and attitudes. A little bit disjointed in places as well, which is pretty cool. I quite like that. But yeah, got some good ideas. They don't stand still. I think they'll be a band who are kind of on the up, and this is just like the little sort of first step on the ladder, and hopefully they can go on to even better and good things. And they're great. They seem to be great live, put on a great performance live from what I've seen. So we'll give them a listen and give them a go. So I'll just pop it on to side 1, Dust on Trial, and you can see what I'm talking about. Bear with me. Okay, folks, here it comes, Dust on Trial, the first track off Shame Band, their first album, which was 2018, called Songs of Praise, and I recommend you give it a listen. It's not for everybody, but these guys are young, they've got a good future, and they're really kind of kicking ass a little bit. So alright, so again, I'll just put this up, episode 1. You can find me at Reveals Vinyl, and Shame Band, if you want to see what they're up to and keep in touch with them, at Shame Band UK. So thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you again soon for episode number 3. Take care. Cheers. Bye.